What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the Illinois game preview. This is the one before the season started that everyone highlighted, everyone circled. This is going to be the game where we find out who USC truly is. And while Illinois suffered a big setback in that beating they took from Indiana last week, after going everything, all the crazy things that took place in that game, I don't think that performance is indicative of Bret Bielema's team. I think they're much better than they showed. And this is definitely not a game where we can just expect USC to waltz in and get an easy W. At the end of the day, this is still a Bret Bielema team. And what that means is that they're going to be tough, they're going to be resilient, and they're going to bounce back with a vengeance, and they are going to be pissed off. So if we don't come out of the gates ready to play, we're going to get punched in the mouth. There's a lot of weird things working against USC in this game. Illinois is in desperation mode to save their season before it goes off the rails. This is a noon Eastern kick, which means it's a 9 a.m. body clock kick for our guys. You see it in the NFL all the time when those West Coast teams have to travel out east and play in that 1 p.m. window. The Rams, the Cardinals, the Niners, they all struggle with it. So this game is going to be a challenge, but one I do think that our guys are ready for. Now, before we do get into it and meet the Fighting Illini, if you are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I do got to shout out Underdog for sponsoring today's video. Guys, Underdog Fantasy is your one-stop shop for daily fantasy sports. All you have to do is head over to Underdog, sign up with my code BLADE, play $5 and you're going to get $50 in bonus funds. Tonight's Thursday Night Football, we have Seahawks Cardinals. So tonight I'm going with Kyler Murray to have higher than 28.5 rushing yards, Marvin Harrison to have lower than 47.5 receiving yards, and you guys know I got to rock with Sam Darnold to have higher than 227.5 passing yards. So many of you guys have been making your picks and sending me DMs on Twitter, showing me all the money you've won. So when you do sign up with my code BLADE and you do make your picks, make sure you do hit me up over on Twitter and show me your best plays. So thank you, Underdog, for sponsoring. Now let's get into the video. All right, so let's dive in and meet the Fighting Illini. As always, we start with the head coach. It's a man that needs no introduction. It's Bret Bielema. When I was a kid, he was the head man at Wisconsin. And those teams absolutely had an identity. You knew what you were going to get week in, week out. And that identity has sort of changed over the years with Coach Bielema. And when you look at this year's Illini team, it does not at all resemble the teams of Wisconsin. Like, they do a lot of the same stuff scheme-wise. But when you think of Wisconsin, you think of Ron Dane and Monty Ball and Melvin Gordon, all the great running backs they've had. With Illinois and Luke Altmaier, this is a throw-first team. And speaking of Luke Altmaier, let's just dive in and meet this Illini offense. Luke was, of course, previously at Ole Miss before he transferred to Illinois. 6'2", 205. So far on the year, completing 70% of his passes for 855 yards, 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. So diving in here, what does Luke Altmaier do well? Well, he's an elite downfield passer. If it's more than 20 plus yards, he's usually on the money, especially in the central part of the field. Great touch, good enough arm strength, and sees it very well. He's not afraid to rip it. I know you see those stats, the 9 touchdowns, no picks, and you probably assume he's just a check down merchant. Not at all the reality. There's a lot of issues on the offensive line that we'll get into, but this is a tough kid that's going to hang in the pocket. He's going to play make, and he's going to throw the ball downfield. Now, speaking to the O-line, I do think he is starting to develop a little bit of a bad habit. Like, on the year, he's been sacked 16 times. For comparison, Jaden Mayava has been sacked 2 times, and one of those came on a Hail Mary. So in traditional drop back settings, Jaden's only been touched once. Now with Luke, he's getting hit so hard and so often, just like we saw with Miller Moss last year. He's starting to duck his head a little early, starting to bail out of clean pockets a little early, and that's causing him to be a little late on some throws. Offensively, they just didn't have any answers for what Indiana was doing. Their O-line was just getting cooked, and Luke really didn't have a chance in that game. He got battered. He got hit over and over and over, and really damn hard too. So where's he going to be at from a mentality standpoint in this game? Is he going to be a little gun shy? Is he going to be able to hang in the pocket and take those shots? That's obviously a wait and see. But the mix of that offensive line situation, which we will get into more in depth, going up against our defensive front and D'Anton Lynn's exotic blitz packages, yeah, they could be in some big time trouble in the passing game. Now, one thing that I did notice when watching him, he really telegraphs his throws when they're short and to the right side. I know that seems really random, and like, why are you telling me this? It's just something I noticed that I thought was interesting. Like, it's really easy to point out when he's going to throw a screen or a swing to the right side of the field. So that's something for our nickels to pay attention to. And it's just something that in the game, if you see us get a pick 6 or something, then you can think back to this video and realize that this information wasn't all totally useless. Now, the pass catchers, the top 2 wideouts for this team are Justin Bowick. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. Already 3 touchdowns on the young season. And Colin Dixon, he's 6'1", 210 pounds, 10 receptions, 151 yards, and 2 scores himself. So 6'1", 6'4". Our corners are going to have to be physical in this game. Because while Marsh played last week for Michigan State, their number 1 wideout, he was not even close to 100%. He was a full step slower than he usually is. So we were able to do pretty good against him, but this is going to be a much tougher challenge this week with these 2 guys. And look, when you have a pass rush like ours, you don't have to cover for 3 or 4 seconds. We just can't get smoked off the line like we've seen so many times this season. And for the love of God, we'll get into it in G's Keys, but we got to stop with the coverage breakdowns. We've had one in every single game where there's just a massive bust. Altmaier is going to see it if we have a bust. He's going to throw the ball downfield, and these guys are going to make plays. We can't give him any freebies. Make him earn it. Now, the 2 backs are going to be Caden Fagan and Khalil Valentine. 3 touchdowns for Fagan, 2 for Valentine. I like this running back room for the Illini. Very balanced, very good blockers across the board, but we can't go any further without talking about this Illini offensive line. So what I saw from watching them, they are very slow to react. Like if the defensive line does anything exotic, they don't really pick it up. They're not physically the most impressive group in the world, and they give up a shit ton of pressures. So what does that mean for our defensive front? It means get after it in this game. Hit Luke Altmaier, hit him early, make him feel you, make him start to see ghosts, make him question what's going on every single time he drops back. Because this Illini team, they could completely change what they do and just ground and pound in this game to try to play keep away. But Brett Bielema is a pretty hard-headed guy. He always has been. And what they do, they do. They don't like to change it for whoever their opponent is that week. So unless we see something that's much out of character for him, expect a heavy passing attack in this one. And if Altmaier's dropping back 30 or 40 times, that's a lot of opportunities to hit him. And don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying injure him or go after him and try to hurt him or anything like that. What I'm saying is hit him within the rules of the game. Cleanly, fairly, but make him afraid every single time he drops back that he's going to get pummeled. This is the Big Ten. This is how our team is constructed now. We're going to rush the hell out of the passer and pray to God our secondary can hold up for a few seconds. That's where we're at, so let's be who we are. This is a game that I could easily see Eric Gentry having 2 or 3 sacks. His speed and length is going to give this offensive line a lot of trouble, so be on the lookout for that. Again, I said it earlier, Jaden Maiava, 2 sacks on the year. One of those came on a Hail Mary, where he held the ball for like 5 seconds. So only 1 true sack on the entire year. Luke Altmaier, 16 sacks. This dude is taking a beating. So pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. That is the key for this one. Now, let's flip over and meet the Illini defense. It's Brett Bielema. We know what to expect here. This is going to be a hybrid 3-4. And the 2 tenets of this defense are press man coverage and blitz. They blitz some more, and they keep blitzing until the game is over. That's what they do. Now, an interesting note from Brett Bielema's presser. I think it was after the game against Indiana. I could be wrong. But he actually said that they have to look at what they do defensively. Now, that's not like Brett Bielema. For all the years he's been calling the defense, they blitz and they play man. That's just what they do. They don't change if it's against Ohio State. They don't change if it's against Minnesota. They are who they are, and that's the end of the discussion. Now, against Lincoln Riley and USC and Jaden Maiava and Makai Lemon, do you really want to blitz and play man coverage? Is that really the game you want to play? Because I think a lot of Curt Cignetti and that Indiana program. But if they found the answers to the test, you don't think Lincoln Riley's going to? So, this is speculation, but based off what Brett Bielema said, I would not at all be surprised if they come out with a different sort of game plan this week. If they play a lot of zone and just keep things in front of them. Like, don't be surprised if they have a different look and our offense is a little clunky to start and it's going to be early in the morning anyway. But it might take us a while to figure out what they're doing defensively and schematically. But once we do finally pick that lock, we're going to burst the door open and the floodgates will open offensively. At least that's what should happen. And defensively, I know everyone's looking at the Indiana game and saying, oh, look how bad Illinois is. There were some pretty extreme circumstances, I'd say. Coach Bielema said that they went into that game with 10 healthy defensive backs, and they finished the game with 4. That's pretty insane. That's pretty remarkable. Like, they got super beat up. They lost all 3 free safeties in that game. But he talked this morning and said that they're all back. The only one who isn't is Xavier Scott. Now, he's their best defensive player, maybe the best player on this team. He is a do-it-all defensive back. He can blitz. He can cover. He's Kamari Ramsey, essentially. And he's done for pretty much the entire year, so he's not going to be playing in this one. But Matthew Bailey and Miles Scott are back. Those are 2 names to circle and highlight. Very good players that are going to be in and around the box, making a lot of tackles. Now, on the year, Illinois has 29 missed tackles. which might sound like a lot, but we have 23, and I don't think we're a very bad tackling team. Like, we go through spurts where we can't really bring guys down. Like, Desmond Stevens has had a little bit of a problem in the tackling game. But other than that, we're a pretty solid group. Like, we'll miss a couple here and there, but much improved from years past. So I do think that the Indiana game was uncharacteristic in many ways for Illinois. Like, that just snowballed. They were losing guys left and right. Indiana scored on special teams on a very weird play where Indiana only had 10 guys on the field, and that caused Illinois to miscount where their blocks were supposed to be. So just a very strange game that just snowballed on them really, really fast. So I don't think you can look at what happened against Indiana and just assume that we're going to walk in there and beat their ass. Again, the time factor here is such a big deal. Oregon went out to Northwestern and was completely groggy when they had a 9 a.m. local kick, right? So we see it in the NFL all the time, just like we talked about. If the LA Rams struggle playing on the East Coast, we're more than likely going to come out a little sleepy. And Illinois is in desperation mode. They're coming off the mat. They're going to be wildly swinging for the fences. I'm not sure if any of you guys watch the UFC, but when there's a really big fight in someone's home country or hometown, or just any old Francis Ngannou fight, I guess, they come out of the gates swinging. They exert a ton of energy in that first round, but whoever's going to win the fight is who has the conditioning to go all 5 rounds. So if we come out and we're down 10 zip, 14 zip, 14-3 or something like that, don't panic, because that's the early onslaught. Once the adrenaline starts to slowly fade away, and it will, we will get right back into this game, and we should take the lead and eventually win. So my advice for watching this game as a USC fan, don't overreact to the first drive. Don't overreact to the first quarter. Now, if we come out and we're up like 28 zip, then yeah, go ahead and overreact. But if it's not the scoreline that we want early, it's totally okay. This is a 4-quarter game, and with everything going on within the Illinois program, with that loss they took, their manhood was not only challenged, but it was exposed to the entire country. They have a big point to prove, and in their eyes, what better opponent to do it against than USC, a marquee national brand, one of the best programs of all time, the coolest program of all time. And you know how those Midwesterners feel about LA people, so they're going to have that angle as well. This is a fascinating matchup, both psychologically, schematically, and just at what point both these teams are at in the season. Like with our USC team, we still don't really know who we are exactly. This game's going to go a long way into pointing us in the direction that our season's going to go. At the end of the day, I just want to win. But at the same time, I think a lot of things match up for us to have a big win. Now, I've been very cautious in these last 2 games against Purdue and Michigan State. My score predictions were pretty close to spot on. I do not expect that to happen this week because I just don't know. Even as I'm recording this video, I don't know what I'm going to predict. So I do have a few minutes to get there. But before we do, let's get into G's keys. Key number 1 for the offense, invite the blitz. We want them to blitz. Please bring extra guys at Jaden Mayava. He's going to throw into the blitz. He's going to hit his wide open checkdowns, and we are going to expose them in the secondary. Get the ball in Eli Sanders' hands in space. Hopefully, we can properly block a screen. If you guys remember how bad our screen game was last year, it does look to be better this year, but it's something to watch there. And key number 2, test the man coverage of Illinois. If they want to come up and put hands on Mekhi Lemon at the line and not have help over top, be my guest. I would love nothing more than to see that. Now, is Jacoby Lane going to play? That's still up in the air. I've been told to not expect him to play, so we'll see where that goes. But absolutely test their man coverage in this game. And defensively, key number 1, no busts. We have seen a coverage bust that has led to a touchdown in every single game so far this year. That's 4 straight weeks. That's unacceptable. Giving them freebies as a defense, we cannot be doing that if we expect to contend for this conference. And number 2, it ties into number 1, and it's been there for the last 3 weeks, but discipline. For the love of God, stop doing hands to the face fouls. Lincoln Riley talked about it on Trojans Live, but we have been marked for it. Absolutely, the refs are looking out for it. And every single one of our hands to the face calls has been a good call. Like, we're committing those fouls, so they should be called. So stop giving them a reason to. Everyone's going to get their hands up there once in a while. Don't grab, don't yank, don't pull, just let it go. Defensive penalties kept Michigan State in the game last week. That should have been a blowout, but it wasn't. And it all started because we were undisciplined. But those were G's keys. Now let's get into the score prediction. So as of right now, USC is currently a 6.5 point favorite over the Illini. The ESPN FPI matchup predictor has us as a 72.9% chance to win this game, leaving Illinois with a 27.1% chance. And this is one I just keep going back and forth on, right? Like, part of me wants to be sensible and realize that, yeah, it's a noon kick. We're going to be groggy. Illinois is going to be coming off the mat and swinging, trying to save their season. There's a reason that the line is only 6.5, guys. Having said that, this week, I do think USC is going to cover and cover pretty easily. I think Illinois is going to come out of the gates hot. I think we're going to be down maybe even a couple scores in the first half. But I think as they start to tire out and we start to ease our way into the ball game, I think we're going to close out very strong. And I have USC winning the game 41-23. Now, as always, guys, please do let me know your score predictions down below. As soon as I publish this video, I am going to be down in the comment section seeing what you guys have to say. So make sure to leave a comment. And if you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really appreciate you guys being here. You're all awesome. And as always, take care and fight on. Beat the Illini.